Hello, everybody. Joe Malone here. It is Friday, and we're live on Dallas Trading Floor for March 19th, 2001. Well, the Dow pulled back sharply this morning, but it's recovered somewhat, which is good. The Nasdaq seems to be bouncing, which is which is a good thing. And but interestingly enough, in the pullback, I was I was pushed out of a lot of positions that I had in the small portfolio. I'm the only stock I'm holding currently is Floor, FLR, and everything else are spreads. Everything else are option plays. So, and I definitely have an option play that I entered this morning that I want to show you. Just some charts from it. So, without further ado, let's get into the charts. All right. Well, the Nasdaq, after several losing days here, it seems like it is moving back up. Still below the 40-day line, which is I'm sorry, 50-day line, which is not good, but it seems to be recovering. It seems to be bouncing up a little bit. I do think it's getting a little bit tougher to trade this market. It's just it's a little, the techs and some of the growth stocks haven't done, have been really, kind of choppy. So that's been sort of a thing that has been it has been an issue. The Dow Jones is as I say recovered a little bit. It's up just slightly, 32,741. The volume is down though, so not really that convincing in terms of a movement. So we got to be kind of careful. As you can see, we had been moving down very decisively on the Nasdaq, but we're up today, and but we're still not really at that all critical level of about 13,400. We're still below that. We're at 13,216.90. So even though we did have a pull up today, with the trend, at least for the right now, in the Nasdaq, and especially in the Nasdaq 100, which is the QQQ, is lower. But I would be very careful about putting on an SQQQ trade right now because it's very volatile, and we don't know kind of how it's going to work. So I'd be a little bit concerned about that. But Nasdaq, it's up today, which is good. But you might want to kind of be looking for the exit a little bit because we could go lower on that. The market in general, though, is in a confirmed uptrend, which is amazing. But most of those stocks tend to be in the more of the cyclical areas, and typically in the Dow. So that's where we kind of got to be looking for the kind of the unexciting stocks that might be doing well. But even with that, I was stopped out of Delta Airlines as well today. So yeah, it's been very mixed. I want to show you this bear call spread that I put on today, and this is kind of an interesting one. I do expect that we're going to see Roku pull back. This is a chart of Roku as of today. It was at 3:49 in the morning when I made this chart. Basically the price trend of Roku is downward. So what I did is I created this this interesting calendar spread, which is and so I'll show you exactly how that's done in just the next slide. But because this is the trending of Roku is down, this creates essentially this trade that will have a profit zone really from about 320 on down to about the $200 level. So basically, here's how the trade works. And basically, I sold two contracts of the April 16th 250 put. This is a put spread for a total of, and I got a premium of that for $254, and then I bought two May 21 250 calls, same strike price, for 582 each, for a total of 1164. So total out of pocket expense on this one, $910, and that's the net debit. So that's what I put out for this. So my maximum risk are in this trade is $910, essentially what I've put out, but I have a potential gain of $3,536 if it is at exactly the price of 250 at expiry. Now, other than that, I do have two other break-evens, one at 202.20 and the other one at 317.70. I know this is kind of complicated, so I'll give you a link. This link, by the way, is where you can go to kind of see the calculation, http://opcalc.com/small r, capital Z, small w, and that will give you that. And I also be putting, if you're on the Action Trade Alerts, which is super easy to do, I'm going to be sending this one out later. To get on those Action Trade Alerts, if you're watching on YouTube, it's super easy. Just go to sendfox.com/Dell's Trading Floor, and you'll be on, and they're totally free, so you'll be able to see this trade. Okay, so I'm going to show you kind of what the heat map looks for like on this one. As I said, I do expect this thing to move downward, Roku to move downward. So if we see it move downward, then this is where the heat map will go. Currently, this is the line. That's where we're at now, kind of right about 349. I do expect it to move south. If it does, you see, as it moves south, it gets more and more. It's more and more good. So if it does decline by about 25 to 27% between now and the end of April, then that will be the max payout. So that kind of shows you how that operates. Back to other things, just to kind of show you, as I said, I'm out of basically all of my long positions. Amazing. I got stopped out of everything except for floor. In that, it's down today. But these are the option plays I have currently working, and they seem to be working fairly well. I do have a bull trade on Discovery, Marine Max, Ark Invest, and Disney, and Apple, and then on this Roku, this is a bear. So I have a bear trade on Roku, but everything else is, at least when I entered it, it was a bull trade. So that kind of wraps that up. And let's get to some of the questions that everybody has been waiting. Thank you very much. So let's take a look at Andrew's question. Thank you very much, Andrew, for sending that in. It's VLO is the symbol. So let's bring that chart up here. VLO. All right. Did I get that? Okay, well, let's bring that other, there we go. Okay, there we go. And get that chart up. There. And it's looking at VLO. This is a Valero, and not a bad place to be right now. Some of those oil stocks, it's been pulling back, but it looks like it is making a bounce there. Let's look at the weekly chart first to kind of get an idea. We have this nice trend going on, which I do like. I like the refiners. I think you're smart to be in the refiners. Unfortunately, we're pretty far extended right now. There was a consolidation, so the last buy point on this one was at 61.67. And that was a while back. That was basically back, almost in February. So, but since then it's just been moving very nicely up. It's tested the 21-day line. So here's what I have to say: if you're in this one, I would stick in it. But it is I wouldn't make a new buy here, because this is fairly far extended from its entry point on the consolidation base back in February. So it's got a 55 checklist. The funds are pretty strong in this one, 1833. The industry sector is good, 55 out of 197. So here's my take on that. If I was in it right now, I would set a stop loss at no less than basically this. Let's see if I can get a little bit more screen there. Okay. Takes a second for it to refresh here. There we go. All right. So basically on that, I think that we can safely see, I think where you want to set your where you want to set your stop loss on this one, because it's about 68.50. I wouldn't let it move below the 50-day line. That's this red line here. I wouldn't let it move below that, but I still think you can stay in it pretty safely. I think this one probably is going to go higher. There's a lot of selling today, but all in all, I do like this. I do like this one. I do wish though that it had a little bit more. You know, I wish it hadn't pulled back like this. But I do think it's probably going to get some support here right below the 21-day line. That's what it's kind of looking like to me. But there's been a lot of selling, so be careful on this one. Because just like everything else, it seems like it seems to be pulling. It's pulling back today. So it's tough. This is a tough market to trade right now. It's kind of we're in a confirmed uptrend, but it's not it's not a very strong one. So I think it's going to be a little bit difficult. Okay, Decajun Asian, like that. 4X. If you had $1,000, how would you split it between BTC, Mara, Riot, GBTC? Or don't. I wouldn't probably be any. The only one I would probably be in if you wanted to get exposure would be GBTC. I think that's probably your best bet. I don't know. In this market, it's getting a little bit tougher to trade. I don't think you want to be in Riot blockchain right now. It's just it's not been performing as well. I like the GBTC for Bitcoin. I do. And this is the chart for the GBTC right here. I like that. I like this one probably the best. So out of those ones that you had really indicated, I would say really the only one I would really go for would probably be the GBTC. The Riot blockchain, it just doesn't have a good chart. Let me kind of move over to that. RIOT. I like the technology, of course, but I think it's a difficult one to trade. I mean, this was sort of last month's trade. I don't think this is this month's trade. We peaked out at 79.50. We're significantly lower than that right now, at 60.95. It's up a little bit today, but this thing, I think this is probably going to go lower. That's what it's looking like. But who can tell? Who can tell? All right. Let's see. Question. What do you think about DOW growers? The marijuana stocks, I think that it's really tough to. This is a question from TikTok. The thing about the marijuana stocks is I just think that I think putting all your eggs in one basket is probably not a good idea, because there's a lot of difference between them. What I would recommend instead is possibly looking at an ETF that covers this area. And one of the ones I like is MJ. Now, I haven't traded this in about 3 years. I did very, very well in this when the legalization process just started, but I haven't really been in it since. Kind of want to show you the history of this. As you can see, it moved way up, and then it's about 3 years ago when I stopped trading it. But from about 2006 to 2008, this was a great thing. It seems like it's regaining some of its strength here. And this might be a good way to possibly go. It's got a relative strength of 85, which is good. Now, I'm showing you the monthly chart here. We do have increasing volume. So if you want to be in the marijuana space, I think you got to be careful, because some of these stocks, even like Tilray, which is some of the best of the breed, they tend to be very volatile. So I'd be really careful with this. What I would do instead is possibly look at an ETF for the cannabis space. And that's probably... that's probably. I think that a lot of people, believe that the cannabis space is this huge bonanza, but I'm not convinced. There's a lot of supply, and the demand's pretty constant. So, for the cannabis trade, look at MJ ETF. So I think this one, this one really probably is going to give you the best results. Now I'm gonna pop over to the the weekly chart. The weekly chart isn't bad. As you can see, it's recovering, and it looks as if it's it's basically making some, it's moving up this 21-day line. Really, I would be kind of a little bit cautious with this. It does have a good relative strength line, but I do think you could possibly buy it if it was about 25.20. I currently it's 23.76, so I'd be a little bit careful about even at that. But this is the one I recommend because I think it's a lot easier way to play the cannabis thing. And this is called Alternative Harvest. The symbol is MJ on it, and I think that that might be a good alternative for potentially being in the cannabis. So that's how I would do it, and that's how I would do it. So let's take the next question. Okay, have you found one crypto exchange that deals with most of the small coins? I think the crypto is great, but it really needs to mature. The way I like to play crypto is not to play it directly, but to play it through the GBTC. And the reason I do is because it's just more fungible. Now, it's true. I mean, there's some huge moves on crypto that you can do very well in, but I am not currently trading that much. But I do have exposure to crypto through GBTC, so that's kind of how I recommend doing it. With that, what do you think about IPOF? Let's look at IPOF. Let's take a look. IPOF. Yeah, social capital. This is interesting fund. Okay, I don't know this fund. Let's see. Okay, gonna look at the monthly chart here first on this one. And this is a blank check company. So you know what? I just, I know everybody. I know this is all the fad here, but yeah, I don't like this chart at all, unfortunately. So, here's the thing. Here's the thing with this. This is a blank check company with no earnings. Avoid. So, I know that this has been, in this big run up. I just think you want to avoid these kind of things because this is potentially, not going to be, you might do well in this, but then again, if I'm a technical investor, so I'm always looking at the charts. This chart just it's not that good. This chart is, this is a downward trending chart on the daily. So this is just not something I'd buy. It's got a relative strength of 24, which is not very good, to be honest with you. So I think you got to be careful with this. This is the weekly chart here. Same thing, a lot of excitement. Everybody's excited, then boom, it goes down. So basically, this is a way that people are transferring money from your pocket into their pocket. So I think, I'm not saying it's a scam, but these blank check companies just got to be careful because, you own basically a bank account, somebody else's. You own a potential claim on somebody else's bank account that they may or may not, you may or may not have access to. So I just don't like I just don't like the way that they play. There's nothing wrong with blank check companies, but I want to see them buy something, and I want to see that trade for about at least 3 or 4 months before I get a feel of it, because they can pull back. I mean, they can pull back. And SPACs, they have been successful, but I'm not a fan. I'm really just not a fan. All right, so Nathan, let's take a look at AVXL. AVXL. All right, and life sciences company. Okay, so this is a fairly inexpensive stock. It's about $14. This is about where I start getting more interested in a stock. Is at about this price range. AVXL, Anavax Life Sciences. Now, typically with these kind of stocks, they tend to they tend basically to have certain characteristics. As you can see, there's no sales and there's no profit. So this is basically this is basically they're working on something, and if these are very binary companies and they do really well or not. This one has been moving stepping higher, so it might have they might have something going for it. I want to take a look at the weekly chart. No, I'm sorry. Excuse me, at the daily chart. For some reason, there seems to be some resistance at about 1547. I don't know exactly what's going on there, but it's got a very high relative strength. But the checklist isn't good. It's only 55. The ownership on it, it's got 110 funds in it, so that's pretty significant. Relatively small. The group is not the best. It's 105 out of 197. So here's the thing on this one. I just think that, your best bet right now on this one is, is possibly to watch list for now. I wouldn't buy it in this market. So here's what I would say about this one. I would not be a buyer of this one right now. I would wait until something else happens. There's just better opportunities out there. And the thing that you've got to be careful in this market, because this has changed a little bit since the beginning of the year, is that we're in a confirmed uptrend, but it's a weak one, and we may be in a situation where it pulls down, and if that happens, all of these stocks will be pretty much destroyed. So I think you just got to be super careful on that. Okay, hey JK, are you streaming on any other sites? Yeah, absolutely I am. Thanks for asking that. Very, very good. Thanks for asking that. I stream on YouTube. So youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor. That's probably where you want to go. And that's where you can go. Now, if you want to just jump right over to that, it's very, very easy to do from TikTok. All you have to do is go to my profile, hit the link, and it gives you a link. It gives you a link tree, and on that link tree, if you scroll down, you'll see the live that's going on right now on YouTube. So I am broadcasting YouTube. I really appreciate that question. Thank you very, very much. All right, so let's see. Totally good to say about blank. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to. I hate being Debbie Downer because I'm a very positive guy. I like to think so, anyways. But you just got to be careful because there's just so many of these sharks out there that want to take people's stimulus check away from them. To be honest with you, everybody's got that stimulus check. They're excited. They want to invest it, but these blank check companies, I don't know. Let's wait until they see. Let's see what they're investing in. Let's see what they're doing, and then do it. So thank you for that comment. Very appreciate it. Have you ever seen a mean revision? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it may pull back to the mean, but right now we're still, we're still in a confirmed uptrend on. I'll show you the. By the way, I'm doing this on YouTube. So what I'm showing you, I kind of want to show you the S&P. I want to kind of show you the indexes. I'm going to show you the Dow Jones here first, and here's the Dow. So we're moving up nicely on the Dow. Mainly, the reason we pulled back a little bit, but we're still moving up nicely on the Dow. The reason we are doing that is because the market is reallocating some funds from some of the higher tech stocks that are in the Nasdaq to the Dow Jones. So let me show you the chart for the Nasdaq Composite, and you'll notice the Nasdaq Composite is moved downwards. You see that? But the Dow is moving up. So basically, what's happening is they're stealing from the Nasdaq, and it's going to the S&P and to the Dow. This is the S&P chart. Again, you can see this very nice movement. You can see that up. So basically, what's happening here is that a lot of the stuff that we saw last year and early in part of this, the dynamic has changed. The Nasdaq has run up tremendously, and now, and now it's giving back some of it, and that's moving from the Nasdaq into the S&P 500 and the Dow. So, I also want to show you the QQQ. This is the top 100 stocks in the Nasdaq, and as you can see, it's very similar chart pattern to the composite chart that I showed you, but it's even more pronounced because it's only the top 100 stocks. This is where Tesla lives and those kind of things. So part of what's causing this is that Tesla has been down. And of course, I was out basically in the 780 range. You see right up here when it crossed, when it basically crossed the 40-day the 50-day line here. And as you can see, it's pulled up today, but you know it's got it essentially right now it's moving down and then up and then down. So right now it's you know right now that's the chart pattern. This is having a lot to do with the drag on the Nasdaq. So when this finds some support, and I think it will probably maybe you know possibly it will bottom at 539. Probably be a buyer at that point, but right now it's pulling back hard. So, all right, so let's get back to the questions from TikTok. Thank you very much. Let's look at SAVA. I don't know SAVA. SAVA. Okay. All right, and that's Cavassa Sciences. Don't know. This is another stock that I'm not that familiar with as well. Hopefully we'll get, we had a little bit of, there we go. Okay, we had a little bit of an issue with bandwidth. Sometimes we're getting those bandwidth things. Boy, look at that relative strength, 99. That's very, very strong. It just came right out of this consolidation, and then basically in January, boom, it just starts to move to the moon. That's interesting. I think what's going on here? This is okay, so spots again. Okay, huh? This is it. So it's Alzheimer's. Interesting. Okay. I'm just going to take a quick look to see what the you know what they're saying about this stock. See why this is doing this. This is very interesting stock. Thank you for bringing this up, Nathan. I appreciate this. I'm just trying to kind of see, you know, because I'm not familiar with this one. So I'm just trying to, you know, get an idea of sort of what, you know, why this is indeed the case. So let's take a look at the article here that you know that we have here for this company. It's interesting. So it says because this pops again. Can it take on Biogen and Alzheimer's? That's interesting. Okay, well I don't know. This is really interesting. Part of the shift to Alzheimer's treatment earlier this week. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Wow. Okay. On the stock market today, SVAA surged from 12. Wow, to 50. Look at that. That's unbelievable. Prior to Alzheimer's. Wow. Okay. Market cap is about. It's a fairly mid size. Our view of the market is recalibrating and repricing. Okay. Huh. Okay. Well, and that's interesting. Well, yeah. This one's definitely you want to watch this one. This is absolutely interesting. Here on that. It does seem that when you have a situation though, like when it does do this, you want to be a little bit careful because it can be a situation that that causes some issues. So I wouldn't buy it necessarily at this price, but let's see. Let's see if it forms a base. You know, this is a classic one that you want to watch list. Yeah, okay. So we have a tight pattern here. That's interesting. Wow. You know what? I like this one a lot. Look at that. It looks like it's sort of a 3-week tight pattern, but it hasn't been recognized yet. So wow. So here's the thing. You know, this might be a buy if it moves above about here. That's what I'm thinking. Let me kind of see. I'm going to set an alert there. So basically, if this moves above that line, you know, then I might be interested. I think you can buy this one. It's a little bit speculative, I'll be honest with you, in this kind of market. And the checklist isn't as good as I'd like it. It's only 55%. but it's got 107 funds in it. So boy, this is looking pretty good. The sector is 105. It's not necessarily that good because of biotech, but this is sort of a different thing and into itself. I've got so here's what I would possibly do here with this one. I do think this is viable, by the way. I would look to set, if I were interested in buying this one. I think what I would do, I think what I would do on this one would be to let's see if I can do that. I would set a buy stop limit order at about 60 plus 10 cents. Of course, I always do that, and plus equals 60.10. So here's how I would approach this one. If you want to buy this, and I think this is very viable because it popped way up here to 117. So this is a fascinating one. Remember, this is by the way, for everybody looking on TikTok, this is SAVA, Cassava Sciences, and I do think that you possibly can buy this one. I wouldn't buy it right now, but it is moving up. So here's what I would do. I would set a buy stop limit order for $60 plus 10 cents, or 60.10. Now currently it's at 57.77, so it's a little bit below that. But I do think that $60 level seems to be the magic number, because it's trading very nicely above the 10-day line and the 21-day line and the 50-day line. So as well as the 200-day. So it's lined up very nicely. The 10-day line has pinched into the 21-day line. That is essentially a signal that it's going to start to move probably higher. The volume is down a little bit here on this. This is the reason why I wouldn't buy it right at the moment, and the reason is because the volume has been went from a very big day right here to going down. So I do think that, let's see if it has a little bit more power, and if it can move above 60 on high volume, then I think that you might have something there. So a buy stop limit order, $60 plus 10 cents, or 60.10. I'm currently not in it, but it does look good, and thank you very much for that comment. It was excellent. That was excellent. Okay, so next question. And I probably appreciate this, Nathan. Good stuff here. AVXL. Let's look at AVXL. And I'm going to put that down on my list. SAVA at 60 plus 10 cents equals 60.10, and that's a buy stop limit order. All right, great. So for the next one, let's look at AVXL. All right, let's see what's happening there. That's another biotech. Very interesting. This is a little bit less expensive one. Essentially the same kind of interesting movement. 97 relative strength. Wow, this is interesting. Biotechs can be unbelievable. They're tough to play because they're very binary. 55 checklist, essentially good ownership, and pretty much the same sector. So it's 105 out of 197. This is an interesting chart. I think that this is probably a buyable above about 16. Now, would I do again? What I would do here on this one, if I was looking to buy this one, would be that I would look to possibly set a buy stop limit order for about 1550 plus about 10, or 1560, and we're basically right there. No, we're not. We're not there yet, unfortunately. So here's what I would do. Here's how, if I would. No, that's wrong one. Wrong one. Pardon me. There we go. No. Okay. Sorry about that. Let's see if I can get. Let's see if I can get the right banner up here. There we go. There it is. Okay. I had a bunch of banners there. So basically, for this one, if you want to buy this one, I wouldn't buy this at this level because it's in a little bit of a downward trend. But I believe this may reverse higher just in the short term because it seems to be bouncing. But you don't want to buy it below about 1547, and the reason you don't is because that's the area of resistance. So you want to see it punch through that area of resistance. I'm liking what I'm seeing here with this volume. You want to see it punch through in the short term the area of resistance, which is at 1546, but just buy it a little bit above that. 1557 or 1560 is going to be a good place to buy it. This is how I would do it, but don't, only buy it if it moves higher. The reason you don't want to do that is because, it's like that old adage, you don't want to catch a falling knife. So I like this one, and I definitely think you have a winner here. So congrats. Thanks for sharing with that, everybody. I'm gonna also put that down on my list. AV XL, and that's a buy stop limit at 1560. So that's kind of interesting as well. I appreciate that very much. So let's take the next question. Let's look at CLR and see how that's doing. Continental Resources. By the way, this is if you're in the Dallas area, or you've heard of the Jerry Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. This is no, I'm sorry. This is Harold. I'm apologize. Continental Resources is Harold Hamm down in Houston. I apologize. So it's Blue Star for Jerry Jones. Harold Hamm is Continental Resources. So this is the big driller up in the Bakken, up in North Dakota. It's been trending downwards, but it looks like it may be signing some support here at the 21-day line. I do like this this relative strength at 83. It looks like it's moving up. This is not a bad pick, by the way. I do think that in the near term, some of these companies like this should do well. The checklist is still too low for me at 55, but the ownership is it's still pretty good. 388 funds are in it. And the industry is what I'm really liking, 8 out of 197. So a lot of these drillers are doing quite well. And but right now I wouldn't buy this because the trend it has, I think we have to wait for a reversal on this one. That's really my that's my that's really my take on this right now. So watch this one for now and wait for reversal above 21-day line. So that's how I would I do like these oil drillers and Continental Resources. I'm familiar with this company, and it's very big in the Bakken. I do think that the price of oil is moving up, obviously, and I do think that these, at least in the short term, should be firming up. But right now you don't want to buy it. It is in a downtrend, at least temporarily, from about 32.39 down. So it looks like it may be getting support at the 21-day line. That's, if you buy it off of the reversal off the 21-day line, that's not a bad place to be. This is a leading driller in this space. Let's see if I can get some comparisons here for you that are, Matador is really the kind of the one that you want to watch. That's also a Dallas company, interestingly enough. But I want to show you the chart on Matador. That's MTDR, and hopefully, there, let me put that in. MTDR. This is Matador. This is a competitor. Yeah, same kind of chart. Not a good place to buy it though, but a little bit stronger than Continental. I do think though, if we get a bounce off of Continental, that might be a really, really good place to go. So right now with with Continental Resources, CLR, that's where you want to possibly wait for, put that on the watch list, wait for that reversal, and then as it reverses, it's going to be a better deal. But right now, it has pulled back, but let's see if it can pull back to the 21-day line. If it can pull back to the 21-day line, I think that would be a very good thing. So, but CLR, you want to watch list this one right now, just because it's it's not quite as it's just not ready. I think it's going to reverse higher, but you don't want to buy it right now. It's not in a downtrend. and that might not be a good thing. So let's take a look at some other questions from TikTok. I'm just kind of scrolling down here. Oh, are you streaming? Yeah, okay, and we answered the question. And by the way, we are streaming, and I probably should put this on my background on TikTok, but we are streaming live on YouTube at youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor. So I got one new message. Let's see. Okay, and that's the join. So thanks. Oh, thank you very much for that. All right. So getting back to the questions from TikTok, and by the way, we are also broadcasting on Periscope and on Twitch as well. So if you can't necessarily get YouTube up, Periscope probably works very well too. Unfortunately, Periscope's going away at the end of the month, which kind of stinks. But we should be on Instagram. We should be moving over to Instagram. Hopefully that will work. So here we go. Hi, Jim. Wondering what you think about KOPN. Let's look at KOPN. KOPN. All right. There we go. And that is Copen Corp. And it is in the semiconductor area, 99 relative strength, very strong. Checklist is excellent, 77%. Typically 66% on the O'Neill checklist is my minimum. This is better than that. We do have some increasing funds, slightly. 25 funds are in this one, and the area that it's in is semiconductor equipment, which is, by the way, this is one of the only areas right now that's performing in the tech space is semiconductor equipment. MKS is also another company that you might want to look at, and that is another semiconductor company. Also, Applied Materials, AMAT, is in this group as well. But this is an interesting area. It's a very profitable area, very important, and we are in a semiconductor cycle right now where people are buying a lot of this equipment. I definitely like this chart. I mean, this is the daily chart here. I really like this chart. It's moving nicely. It basically bottomed, and it looks like at least in the short term, we have an upward trend on this. We moved down, we bounced, and it looks like we have a reversal. We reversed off of the 21-day line, which, by the way, if you're looking for something that is viable, this is the kind of pattern you want to see. As it moves up, then it pulls back. It pulls below the 21-day line. That's that green line here, and then it bounces up. This is essentially a reversal. I want to take a look at the monthly chart to see. It's a little bit hard to see on the monthly chart, but it does look like we have, interestingly enough, a sort of a tight pattern. And this is what you're always looking for. You're looking for about 3 weeks of a very tight pattern, and this seems to be setting up that way. So this is interesting. This could be this could be a relatively explosive stock. This could explode through the $12 range. Now let's look at the volume to see if I'm not just a bunch of hot air here. Okay, it did. It came through earnings very nicely, up 22%. And then there was a sell. This is very common. There's almost always a pullback upon earnings, but then it's gained some nice volume right there. So here's how I would play this one. It has some very nice sales, up 59%. Profits are up too. So wow, this is looking very, very good. Here's what I would do. I would look to buy this thing above 12. So here's how I would play this one. I do think this is viable, by the way. So what I would do on this one is basically what I would do is look. Let's see if I can put this up on the screen for everybody here. I'd set a buy stop limit basically at about 12, at about $12, and then I would add to that 10 cents. So make sure that it has enough volume for about 12.10. So that's kind of where I would be looking to to buy this one. So I definitely like this stock. This is a nice one. KORN, and it's a buy stop limit or order at 12.10. So that's looking fairly good. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and I'm going to set a alert on this one if it moves above that line, because I do think that that's where the that is essentially where the resistance is right about 12, and I think if it moves above 12, then that's because that's the midpoint of the strongest uptrend. So about 12 seems to be where the resistance is. If it moves past that resistance, I probably would be a buyer, because look at this, 99 relative strength, and the trend line is moving up on the this is the S&P 500. I'm sorry, this is the relative strength line. You're always wanting to buy stocks that have very strong relative strengths, and this definitely does. So, very, very good. Thank you very much for this idea. I think it's a good one. I think it's definitely viable. I think you got to be, though, above $12. So $12.10 is where I would set my buy stop limit for KORN. That's kind of where I would set it. So, wow, thank you for that very much, Emmy. Appreciate it very much. Let's look at PSNL and see what that one is. PSNL. And that is Personalis. I don't know this. Oh, it's a medical company. Okay, I'm taking a look at this chart. My thoughts initially, and I'm going to take a look at the daily. Yeah, okay. I don't think we want to be in this one. And the reason I don't think we want to be in this one, if you can take a look, I've just drawn a trend line there. What's happened is that we pulled back to the 200-day line here, and it pulled back up, and it looks like it's failing at the 200-day line. This is essentially a shorting pattern. There's not a lot here, so it's not a tremendously large stock, but this is a left shoulder, this is a head here, and this is a failure at the right shoulder. So here's what I think is happening. It couldn't hold the 50-day moving average. It blew past that, and it looks like it's having some issues at the 200-day. So typically what will happen is I would be a short on this one if it's probably going to rally once, twice, and then on the third time I would be a short on this one. So what I would do on this one is I think this is breaking down, and so I think what you've got to do here is I think what you've got to do on this one is to basically watch this list for potential short sale. And if you don't know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about a short sale, basically what it is that you borrow the shares, you then sell them, and then you wait for it to move downward, and then you buy them back at a lower price. So this is kind of what I would think on this one. Oops. Let's see if I can. Yeah. So I would watch this one here for a potential short sale. I want to see it bounce once, twice, and then the third time typically is when I will short it. So this one is not looking good as a chart. I do think this one looks like it's moving lower, and the reason I do is because even though we had a large volume there, we did not come back to the 200-day line. This is essentially anytime it moves below this 200-day line here, that's where that's where if it can't hold this 200-day line, it's going to go lower and a lot lower. So that's why I think it might be a potentially a good short on that one. I think it might be a good short. Hey, thank you, AJob99. Thanks for watching me, by the way, on Periscope. I'm so sorry it's going away, but we should have Twitter. Twitter is going to allow live feeds. That's coming up, and so we should be on that. So I appreciate you watching from Periscope, which I really like, and I wish they weren't getting rid of. Thoughts on AOUT? Let's look at AOUT. All right. Okay. There we go. American Outdoors. Wow, look at that. Yeah, this is definitely a reopening play, and it's looking good. Look at this. Wow, it has a gap up, and it's held it. That's what's even more impressive. It gapped up out of this pocket pivot. This is essentially this is a cup formation, but it's essentially a short one. It's not long enough to be a real one. This is the true buy point over here, basically at 1955, and this thing, you know, it cupped, and then there was a handle, and then boom, it's up. So this is really looking good. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. A B A O sorry, AOUT. So that one is gap up. And I'm just going to put that down on my notepad there because that's very good. 71 relative strength, which normally I like to buy at an 80 or better, but this is looking good. Look at this. Look at this beautiful volume here. Very nice. Let's look at the monthly chart to see. Yeah, look at that, boy. It's just this is a beautiful chart actually. Yeah, this is a beautiful chart. It came out. You know, this is an IPO base here. This is what they call it. This is called it says cup here, but this is really an IPO base. Very nice. It went above the buy point, and then it moved right up. So wow, this is a really good one. 531. This definitely want to put this on your watch list. 77. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. 171 funds, so that's really good. 77 out of 197 on the sector, so that's looking good. Leisure Group, liking that very much. They had some very good sales increases, 91%. Look at that profit. Wow, 531. Definitely, this is the kind of thing. I mean, it's still, their cash flow is still negative, but everything I can see about this is looking very nice. So it's American Outdoor Brands, and I think this is. I think they manufacture guns of some kind. So they're just doing great. 40% in funds in here. This is one you might want possibly put in your portfolio. I may put this in the small portfolio because I like this action a lot. It's likely to pull back a little bit. I don't know if I would buy it. I don't know if I would buy it at this level because it's a little bit extended off of the 1955 buy point. But everything else about this I really like. Very nice stock. Here's the thing. Let's see if it settles down to about the $24 level. I don't know if it will because it's looking like it's going to be right there at 26. So it looks like it's just going to sit there. But I do think that you know that this is you know, just looking very good. I mean, this is just looking very good. I think you're going to have to watch this, so wait for an entry point, and that's really the only thing. This is what's so frustrating when you find a really great you know, a really great stock like this is you know, with this kind of thing. You know, I think this is a great watch list. This stock AOUT. For potential alternate entry point, and that's really the case here. I mean, it's a little extended right now, so you don't probably want to buy it right at this level. But this is a good stock, AOUT. So we want to watch list this. And possibly get a alternate entry point. So right now, I think you can't really buy it because it's too far extended. But here's what I would do: I would put this on my watch list and wait to see if it forms another base, or it pulls back below about $24, and then I would probably be a buyer of this. This is a good stock. This is a good stock, good setup. Very good, interesting. All right, thoughts on Apple? I think I got to talk about Apple. I'm actually in an Apple call spread. It's a bull call spread, and maybe I shouldn't have put it in a bull call spread. This is indicative of the problems that we've been having in the Nasdaq. As you can see, this thing's pulled below 120. This is kind of a key level for it, unfortunately, because this is where the 10-day line is. We're still above the 200-day moving average, but you know, I'm getting to the point where I'm probably going to close this. I'm probably going to close my spread on this one. Why? Because it tried. This was the trend. It rallied here, trying to make a reversal, and unfortunately, it didn't make the reversal. So there's a lot of selling going on, and so right now, I just think this is why the techs are weak. So, you know, this is just you know, you might consider selling right now. but because techs. So I really think with the tech stocks weak like this, this is really a bellwether here. Apple is really a bellwether. So this is part of the reason you want to be really careful investing in any of the techs. And I know that a lot of the new investors, they don't really know any other stocks beside the techs. They've only been investing in the techs. They only know that sector. So this is the reason why you have to be extremely careful in this market. Apple is probably one of the best stocks out there in terms of its overall strength in the tech sector. If it's behaving like this, then I think we've got to be really, really careful in the tech sector. So there is a major rotation that has been going on into into the cyclical stocks, and it's just one of those things. I want to check Boeing just really quickly here to see. That's the biggest stock in the Dow. But it's even down today. But it's still above the buy point, the 244 buy point. But it's sticking right at the top of the buy range. So really, and this is a tight. This is a tight pattern. So even the Dow is not looking as good as I'd like to see it. I just want to kind of look at the chart for the overall Dow. Yeah, even the Dow has pulled back today and touched the 10-day line. So even though this is probably right now the strongest of the major indices, it is weak as well. There was a lot of selling going on today, so this is a tough market. This is a little bit more difficult to invest in than we've had for the last few months. But if you look at the Nasdaq Composite and you look at the Apple chart, it's almost identical. So that's why some of these really, really big FANG stocks, they typically the way they trade is the way the entire Nasdaq trades. So. Here's what I'm saying. I think, I want to bottom line it. And the bottom line is that right now, I think if you're down more than 7% in Apple, I think it's a good time to sell it. Wait, possibly. Let's see if there's some strength coming back. I've got this call spread. Over the weekend, I'm going to decide whether or not to close it because it's not looking as good as I'd like to see it. All right, one other stock. Let's see. Running out of time. We're almost at the end of the hour. I'm sorry to say. Oh, let's look at BAC. That's a good one to look at. Thank you very much for this. Ubicum. I think it is BA, and this is Bank of America. These the money center banks have been getting some love as of late, and I want to show you the chart on it. We're definitely above the buy point. This is 34.37, and we moved nice above that. So this seems to be in a very nice trend. Actually, I'm not a big fan of the banks, but this is not a bad chart. This is looking decent. We just bounced off the 10-day line, and so Bank of America Corp. Boy, I think that this is not a bad place to be right now. This is not a bad place to be. There's been a lot of shift in the market. We're still pretty far in front of earnings, 27 days. That's good. So I'm liking, you know what, and here I am. I may be eating my words, but I'm actually liking Bank of America. Now, is it a great entry point? We kind of missed the entry point, but, because basically the entry point with cup with handle was 34.37. It's currently trading 38. So we're not that far away from it. I mean, I don't think there would be any major problem if you entered here. It's a little extended, but this is a much more slow pokey stock, 55% on the checklist. So I do like this one. Out of all of these, the only thing is the relative strength is 73. I think you might be better off going with a little bit stronger one, and that would be Morgan Stanley MS. That's probably a little stronger stock right now, but essentially it's almost the same chart pattern that we have with Bank of America. This is a little more expensive stock, of course. It's 82.96. But that's how I'd play it. The financials are looking much better than they did, just a few months ago. So it's very, very interesting. All right, well, we've come to an hour, and just wanted to reiterate some of the things. If you'd like to get on our action trade alerts, very, very easy to do. All you have to do is go to this address, Let's put it up there. Free Action Trailers. There we go. And that is https://sendfox.com/Dallas Trading Floor. So that will get you on the list for the Action Trailers. I'm going to be, putting out an alert on the bear, the calendar bear spread that I did today on Roku. So I'm going to be putting out the particulars on that today, and that'll be out. So if you're on the Action Trade Alerts by 5 o'clock or so today, then you'll be getting that. And that's you can get on that list, of course, sendfox.com/Dallas Trading Floor. So sendfox.com/Dallas Trading Floor. And if you want to get on that list and you're watching me on TikTok, it's super easy to do. You just go to my profile, and then when you get to the profile, there's a thing called beacons. Hit that. That's a link tree. You want to put your first and last name and email address, and then, of course, it's free. Put it anytime you like, and you'll be on the Action Trade Alerts as well. So until Monday, I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. I'll be back Monday at 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central on Dallas Trading Floor. So have everyone have a happy and safe weekend. I will see you on Monday.